Now that the demographics of this channel has heavily shifted into the female audience, I would like to say I no longer hate women, I love women, and women are so beautiful. They come in all shapes and sizes. Some of them are plus size, some of them are petite and tiny, super athletic, and others of them are just quite frankly built like men. This is Lilly Tino. Tino? I don't know, and I don't really respect them enough to give a shit. Not because they're trans, because I can respect trans people. If you are female presenting and you feel that you are a woman, I can respect that. If you're male presenting and you feel that you are a man, I can respect that. What I can't respect is you being a weirdo and saying highly inappropriate things around children. But before we get into that, I want to address some of the other issues that I have with this person, and if you're trans and you're watching this right now, this is not me trying to bash you or your community. I want to understand, so please tell me if I'm wrong. According to the Mayo Clinic, body dysmorphia is as followed. Body dysmorphic disorder is a mental health condition in which you can't stop thinking about one or more perceived defects or flaws in your appearance. On a tangent to this, I wanted to open up and say that I have not always been the most confident person. Hell, I'm still not even very confident, and I'm out here putting myself on the internet. In the past, there have been things about my body that I don't like having a massive, you know, pretty fucking big forehead. You see that? Look at the fucking size of that thing. Look at it. That's not receding hairline. That's fucking hair. That's where it starts. Fucking forehead. But back to my original point. People with body dysmorphic order typically feel that a tiny flaw or a character imperfection is a huge thing, and to some point they have a right to feel that way. However, often they may also feel embarrassed and ashamed and anxious that they may just avoid social situations entirely. And I say all of that to say this: I think that this person is extremely detrimental to the trans community. And not only do I think that they are detrimental to the trans community, I also think that they are detrimental to women. An extremely polarizing topic inside of the trans community is deadnaming, and if you don't know what deadnaming is, it is essentially using the person's previous name before they transition. Personally, I don't care what name you want to go by. You're going to tell me, I'm going to forget 5 minutes later, and then I'm awkwardly going to try to remember and phrase words and sentences when I see you next time like I remember, but I really don't. However, a lot of people in the trans community feel that this is disrespectful, and I do to an extent. If you can't remember or you don't understand and you don't know what to call somebody, so you accidentally call them the wrong name because you don't remember, maybe it's a family member that has transitioned later in life, so those lines are kind of blurry. I think this is okay. Things happen, accidents happen. Hatred is through intent. However, if your intention is to be hateful or spiteful and call somebody something to piss them off, then you're a fucking dick. And I say all of that to say this: I think that what they do is the equivalent of deadnaming, except with old photos of themselves. This is their TikTok For You page, and over again, you see pictures of them when they were a man. Now, they are somebody that consistently talks about going through gender reaffirming surgery, which is your choice. It's your body. I am not one to tell you what to do with it. However, in an interview conducted by the dailymail.co.uk, Lilly is on record saying the following: gender dysphoria makes you feel like a deep depression, which is so tough to describe, life feels impossible. Now, my thoughts as a rational person is that I have transmutable characteristics about myself that I don't like. Body flaws. I am a larger guy. I have a stomach, and I don't find it attractive. I don't think others would find it attractive, and I am embarrassed by it. I could put the work in, but I don't, which is my fault, and we'll get to a fat shaming topic later. However, what I say by saying this is that if I don't go out showing things that I am embarrassed about, why would somebody who is also a rational person consistently show off pictures of themselves from when a time of depression and loneliness and hatred of themselves set in, unless there is something to potentially be gained from it?
Buongiorno, this is my manicotti, and later this year a surgeon will turn it into a tortellini. How, you ask? Let me show you.
Allow me to clutch my pearls for a moment, as this is actually very stereotypical of Italian people and potentially racist. Just wanted to put that out there.
Now, if I still had my meatballs, which I don't because I got them removed last summer, this would be the first thing the surgeon would remove. So let's go ahead and do that. Ugh. With the meatballs gone, his next move will be to split the manicotti straight down the middle. I wasn't trained for this. Ooh, we did it. We will then open the manicotti and lay it down flat. Inside the manicotti, there's all kinds of filling, which the surgeon will remove.
One of my favorite phrases to tell people when I am angry is to eat a dick. However, in this case, eat a metaphorical dick.
Ugh. Once it's cleaned out, the only thing left will be a small tube of spaghetti that carries all of the manicotti's various sauces. We'll come back to this tube later, but for now, we will shorten. Next, the surgeon will use the outer shell of the manicotti to create the inner lining of the tortellini. But before the surgeon can create the tortellini, he must first make room for the tortellini. Hey, this might fit. Hey, look at that, we did it. Now we just make sure that our pasta transportation tube is set in the right position inside. And just like that, we have created a brand new tortellini. One final and important note. I know this doesn't look like an appetizing tortellini, but after it's healed, it will. The aesthetics of this surgery have come so far in the past few decades, and the results are truly mind-blowing. And one final note. It's been Lilly the whole time.
Oh my god, no way. It was Lilly the whole time. What a fucking surprise. We couldn't tell. To give Lilly credit, everything that I could find online about the surgery has vastly improved over the years. However, I personally feel that it is very disingenuous to upload a video in the style of education and inform people how the male to female gender reaffirming surgery goes for the lower half of the body. Not to mention that this video that they posted is 1 minute and 41 seconds long. And if you're not a content creator, then you wouldn't understand why 1 minute and 41 seconds is a problem. You see, TikTok is similar to YouTube in the way that a YouTube video over 8 minutes qualifies for mid-roll ads, which means the creator will make more money each video. On TikTok, the sweet spot is videos over 1 minute, and the maximum capacity for an uploaded video on TikTok is 3 minutes, which means Lilly had an additional 1 minute, 20 seconds, 30 seconds to be able to potentially post some hazards or downsides of risks that you could run into while going into the surgery. Instead, they choose to push a specific narrative instead of doing the best that they can to inform their audience of a decision that is in fact life-altering and you cannot reverse. And again, I am not here to tell you what to do with your body, as it is your choice. I just want to make sure that you have the information that you need going into a major elective surgery. And I also want you to think twice about who you get your information from and where you get your information from, because not everyone has your best interest in mind when it comes to their money.
Now that my cake pops have been removed, the question is, do I want to turn the stick into a donut? Last time we talked about the inversion method, which takes the cake pop stick and flips it inside out to create the lining of the donut. Unfortunately, a donut made this way cannot self-glaze, but there is a method that can. It's called the pull-through method. In this method, the cake pop stick isn't used. Instead, they take the tissue from your abdomen, I will use this bag to represent that, and they pull it down to create the lining for the donut. So instead of going from the outside in, you're going from the inside down. And because of the nature of your tummy lining, this donut can now self-glaze. This method is newer and more complex than the inversion method, so there's not as many doctors out there that know how to perform it. Doctors tend to pick one method and make it their specialty, so new methods like the tummy lining method did take a while to catch on. That being said, the women who have gotten their donuts via the pull-through method have reported a lot of positive results. If I were to get my donut, this probably would be my first choice, but honestly, I'm still not sure.
And again, another educational style video coming in at 1 minute and 11 seconds where they continue to tell you the upside of new surgeries without any of the detriments to it. Now, I am no expert, but I would imagine when it comes to surgeries, much like the design of anything in general, when you add more complexity to it, there is a lot more opportunities for things to go wrong. Like you said, this is a new and complex technique that many people probably haven't heard about. Instead of doing the right thing and trying to educate everybody on the positives and the negatives and letting them draw a decision, you are using your influence to sway them in a way that you want them to go. This way they come back to your channel and you make more money over and over again. This is a problem. Do you know who else in history did new and cutting edge surgeries that everyone in the community probably thought was a good idea? Dr. Joseph Mengele. And I wouldn't tell you to go get anything done by him. Moving away from the surgeries for now, because we're gonna have to revisit this issue because it plays an integral part of why I decided to make this video in the first place.
Did you know that Spider-Gwen is probably trans? Our first piece of evidence comes from the most recent Spider-Verse movie, where above Gwen Stacy's bed, we see a Protect Trans Kids banner. Now, a lot of people have that banner. It doesn't mean she's trans for sure, but what about the trans flag on her dad's police uniform? You could interpret this flag as a way for him to mark himself as an ally. After all, a lot of trans people do not trust the police. However, when you take it in context with the banner above Gwen's bed, it starts to look like he's wearing the flag to support his daughter.
This is a recurring theme that I've seen where Lilly consistently tries to conflate something in movie or theater or media with the idea that someone was actually transsexual. I were to take the same logical approach as Lilly here, I could come to the inference that Lilly is probably a man dressing up as a woman with a fetish for self-mutilation. And the reason that you could come to that conclusion is to the fact that they are constantly posting old pictures of themselves pre-transition. She tends to present on the outside more feministic traits such as long hair, nails, makeup. Not saying that men can't have all of these things as well. I am a boy wearing pink. Ladies, I'm mad that you actually gatekeep pastels from me. And the final contextual clue to come to that reasoning is they have gone under an elective surgery to have body parts removed. And you could in a world equate that to body modification. Some people might consider it mutilation. I'm not sure. And not to dispute it, because they could be absolutely right. Gwen could be trans, no harm, no foul, no one's getting hurt. It's none of my business. However, there could also be an alternative theory that maybe someone working on the film hid Easter eggs.
It's also important to consider the scene where Gwen comes out to her dad about being a superhero. Now, Gwen isn't coming out as explicitly trans, but the feelings are the exact same. The vulnerability, the fear, the anxiety. It's something that a lot of queer people can relate to in their coming out experience. So is Spider-Gwen trans? Not officially. The creators of the movie have never commented one way or another. But they've also never told us that Gwen Stacy is cis, and for that matter, they've never told us that Peter Parker is cis. He might be swinging around as a trans man. We don't know. And I am not the only one to think this. Spider-Gwen has very much been claimed by the trans community. Take a look at all of these lovely cosplays from other trans femme creators. And even if we never get confirmation that Spider-Gwen is officially trans, we will always celebrate her as one of our own.
I think I was 33 when I first came out to my friends that I was bisexual. My wife pegged it like when we first fucking met. She was always afraid that I was gonna leave her for another man. And like everything else in my life, my wife is always right. And I am not legally obligated to say this. However, I grew up in a time where it was not okay to be gay. You got called names and beat up and made fun of. And I'll admit, when I first came out, I was extremely nervous because growing up, I had only ever met one guy that was out of the closet through high school. There were a bunch of girls, so the first people that I ever actually talked to about it were my gay I don't know if you can apply gay to lesbians, to my lesbian friends. And their attitude towards it was so blasé. They basically said that no one cares anymore, the world has changed, move on, get back to work. All of my straight friends sat there with their jaws dropped in horror, trying to figure out how I didn't know this for 33 years. Meanwhile, they pegged it the first moment they met me. So I say all of that to say this. No one actually cares that I'm gay or bi or trans or non-binary, feminine presenting, male presenting. No one truly cares, except for the radicals on the far left who claim that everything is about identity, and the radicals on the far right that hate people that aren't like them, who are probably actually secretly closeted themselves. For the TLDR summary, no one actually gives a shit about what you are, who you screw, so stop making it the key focus of your fucking identity. It's boring, it's bland. Darling, do better. And this isn't the only time that she has drawn the inference that someone or something might be trans. All my witch talk followers out there, hello. And I will say that you and I know the one thing that you don't mess with is the dead.
I bet you didn't know that Kurt Cobain was probably trans.
Lily, I have a few things to say because I'm actually really disappointed in this take of yours. You're very big on people respecting your pronouns and your identity, but yet you turn around and speculate the gender identity of a dead man. That's disrespectful as fuck. He used he, him pronouns while he was living, and he was referred to as a man, so maybe post-mortem, that's what you should do for him. Just because he wore dresses on occasion does not mean he was trans. Music can hold symbolism, so when he sang about breasts, maybe he wasn't singing about breasts for him, maybe he just wanted to touch some breasts. You never know.
That's a very valid point. I don't know one person on this earth that doesn't like boobies. I myself love Art Deco style brooches for women. They are just fucking gorgeous. But that doesn't make me trans, and the delusion that you would have to be under to assume that somebody who was known for going against the mainstream narrative so hard that they probably did this just to piss people off is insane. And that's coming from somebody who has literally been in a delusional manic psychosis and has been institutionalized for it. It's crazy.
Not to mention that there are so many male figures in the celebrity industry that dress feminine or have dressed feminine. Harry Styles, Freddie Mercury, David Bowie, Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire, Tyler Perry in the Medea movies, Eddie Murphy in Norbit and the Nutty Professor. My point is, you don't have to wear a dress to be considered trans. And honestly, the gay feeling he felt like he had was probably due to the bad reputation that LGBT folks got back in those days. That type of stuff was frowned upon, and being trans was not as commonplace as it is today. Trans people existed, but not to the level that they do today. And I'm no expert on legalities, but if you're not careful, what you say about a celebrity can get you in a lot of trouble. Especially if you're speculating about something that he may or may not have disclosed to anybody he was close to in his lifetime. Please do not get on here preaching to people about respecting you and then turning around and disrespecting somebody who can't speak for themselves anymore.
Honestly, I don't know if I could have said any of this better than Allie. That's why I chose to let her video speak. And if you agree with her analysis, please go follow her on TikTok and let her know that I sent you and I said hello. And if you're still here in this video, I would love if you liked and subscribed, because the last video that I put out, so many people subscribed to me that it actually like reinforced and validated my whole fucking life here on YouTube. It changed the way that I thought I was doing. I thought I was okay, mid-tier at best, but so many people showed me support that I do think I can actually make a career out of this, or a pursuit, and I will always be so thankful to all of you. I don't know how to say it without crying, so I'm gonna move on. Oh, by the way, the original video that Lilly made about Kurt Cobain being a trans woman is a minute and, hold on, let me pull that up. A minute and 12 seconds long. So guess what that means? More money. Do you guys know how to tell when someone's a vegan? You don't? Don't worry, they'll tell you.
Hi there.
Regular water, okay?
Yes, please. And oh, just so you know, are you my server?
Yes.
My pronouns are she, her.
Okay. It's all good for me.
Hey, are you a random stranger that I've never met before? Oh, cool, you are? My pronouns are Snuffle and Luffagus. Bitch, you've got long, red, dyed, curly hair, you are wearing jewelry, and you have a crop top on. You are presenting female. Why would you assume that anyone's going to not know that you present as a woman and would like to be called as such? Oh, because you're a judgmental bigot casting your insecurities onto people and assuming that they're bigots themselves. Allegedly. You see, Lily, that's called using contextual clues to jump to conclusions that probably aren't realistic. And this poor server was so sweet because he was 100% sympathetic with the trans community from the community that he came from. However, he felt like he had to sweat and dodge bullets because this is a recorded interaction and you never know how people are going to take things out of context. A cake pop and defend Lily here. Yes, men can lactate as we were all female when we were in the gestational period in the womb of our mothers. I'm going to make this claim knowing very well that I can't back it up because I can't find anything online about this. I am going to say that I don't know what I'm talking about on this subject. However, when biological women have children, the first amount of breast milk that comes from the tissues is known as colostrum, and this is where babies get all of their antibodies, their immune system. It's from their mother, and I'm not sure if men are capable of producing this. So if there is someone out there with empirical data on this, please correct me if I am wrong or validate me if I am right. Link me to your sources down in the comment section and I will pin the comment. And if you're a mother out there watching this, you probably know what I'm about to say next. There are certain risks that come with breastfeeding children. According to the Mayo Clinic, taking drugs while breastfeeding could make your baby have seizures, vomits, and have trouble feeding. Drug use can also impact your family in many ways. It may be linked to poor parenting, child neglect, and abuse. Parents with drug use disorders may not be able to care for their children well. Now, I will say that is not a one-to-one comparison because HRT is not an illicit substance such as marijuana or heroin or alcohol. However, it is proven that almost always medication does pass from the mother into the breast milk to the child. Most of the time, there is no cause for alarm. And just because I'm unable to find much information on this subject, I would like to take a second and show the other side to this argument. Dr. Wendy Jones says there remains no conclusive research on the passage of HRT medication into breast milk, but anecdotally, HRT has been used by nursing women without impact on their infant or breast milk supply. So there you go. There is no clear empirical data on whether or not HRT can potentially be harmful to children through the passage of breast milk, but I will say for a doubt that I am not going to make baseless claims about information that the medical society does not know. And ladies, if you're out there still, let me know whether or not I am right or wrong on this subject, because I as a parent feel that I would not want to put my child at risk on something that the medical society has not drawn conclusions on unless it was extremely experimental techniques or medications that were going to save my wife's life or the life of my child. And I say all that to say this: I think it is finally time to get back to what I initially hinted at in the beginning of the video.
I'm gonna get banned from Disney. I swear, we're about to get banned from Disney. Last summer, I got my cake pops removed, and the plan up until recently was to get my marshmallow wand reconfigured into a marshmallow tunnel. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, I noticed some hair regrowth on my marshmallow wand. That's bad because the outside of the wand is what becomes the inside of the tunnel, so you don't want hair growing there, or else it's very uncomfortable. So I talked to my surgeon and he said that it would be best to postpone the procedure until after hair removal is complete. This is obviously disappointing because I was really excited to have a marshmallow tunnel sooner. That being said, it is still happening. We're just not sure when it's happening. Hair removal is a fickle thing and it's really hard to predict when it will finish. But my hair removal technician thinks it will be before the end of the year. So, fingers crossed. Oh, God. Want some? My mom's here, by the way. The marshmallow tunnel.
Be it far from me to police anybody's First Amendment right of freedom of speech, as I would not want my freedom of speech policed either. However, there are literally children in the background within earshot of you having this conversation that you know that you are in the wrong for having in a place where children often go, because you say that you're going to get banned from Disney. Now, from my understanding, when somebody says something that they don't think is wrong, like whether they hate gay people or black people or whatever, it doesn't matter. They don't have the insight to understand what they're going to say is controversial and going to get them banned from places, unless it's intentional. So let's use some context clues to draw a resolution as to why somebody would say something so controversial in a place that where they said it, there would be kids that would also be highly controversial as well. Well, we all know that controversy is very similar to sex. Where it sells, doesn't matter if it's good PR or bad PR. We also know that TikTok has a special program for creators that are in the creator fund process to post videos over a minute long. And we all know that Lilly likes to repack her package as a story that she doesn't have to come up with over and over again because it is controversial and she will make money from it. So with all of the context clues laid out, someone could potentially come to the realization or inference that Lilly Tino is out there for money, spreading information, not fully educating people on the potential risks and downside to potential body mutilation. But that's just me though. Let me know what you think down in the comment section. And I swear to God, if I find one person coming and using this video to promote hate towards the trans community or the LGBT community or cis community, I don't give a shit. This is not for you to fucking use my words against people for hate. This is about Lilly, who is a public figure and not anyone else. And if you use my words that way, I will come for you next, and it's gonna be so much worse. I promise you that. Welcome to the fucking petting zoo.